Welcome, everybody. It is the Paul Rodriguez Show coming out of Studio 44. Producer James with the quick edit there. Appreciate your hard work on that one. Happy birthday to the man leading the evil empire in the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick, we want to wish you a happy 69th birthday. In addition to today being your birthday, on this day 21 years ago, the GOAT was drafted 199th overall. And his name was Tom Brady out of Michigan. Now he's winning Super Bowls for another coach, and you're trying to figure it out again. Anyways, happy birthday, Bill. I'm sure you're doing just fine. Probably terrorizing the media up there in New England, if not joking with them at the same time.
Saw him walking by, those fans not even attempting to, slap the hand on the way out.
Well, they're the enemy. They're the those are the Detroit Lions fans. Maybe they
were kids though.
You think Bill cares? I don't even think he has children. I know he's got a dog named Nike. Apparently, he was making picks for them last year. Did pretty well. That'll be interesting.
Does he have his own social media as well?
I think Bill does have sons. I'm being sarcastic. One of them is actually a defense coordinator. Okay. He actually looks like Bill, but he's probably like 40 years younger, maybe 30 years younger, and he has like a mullet. And if you look at him, you're like, he has the same mannerisms, but you're like, how? It doesn't really compute unless you see them behave the same way. What was your question?
You already left my mind.
Oh, man, that was quick. Yeah. All I did was like 20 seconds right there. I was like, well, maybe he'll come back to you. Okay. Some more news going through the Twitterverse, I guess you could say. We'll tie into your Packers here real quick. The Green Bay Packers seem to be on the line for newly released defensive tackle Sheldon Richardson, who left Cleveland as they made room for Jadeveon Clowney. So potentially a weapon in the middle of the field to stop defenses or to stop offensive run game. Something they needed in the championship game in the NFC Championship. They're going to need some more things to kind of happen, but I just wanted to leave that out there. Sheldon Richardson could be a really valuable piece to get there in the middle. We'll see how that fares out. Also, the three-stripe life. You know about the three-stripe life? Adidas? Yeah. So Adidas apparently was they won the lottery. They were able to land Trevor Lawrence as their newest athlete that will be promoting their brand. He'll wear Adidas on Sunday, probably every other day as well, I would assume. In addition to other notable quarterbacks and star athletes, Patrick Mahomes, three-stripe life, Alvin Kamara, and do you know, James?
I do not.
You should know. Aaron Rodgers is the last one of the quarterbacks that will be wearing and promoting the Adidas life. I'm trying to set you up there. I thought you would catch that one.
At least somebody's giving them money.
Oh, man. Dang. That was hey, Uncle Joey, was that a low blow? I think that was low. What do you think? Oh. Well, never mind. Yeah. Thank you, Uncle Joey. With the claps, too. He wanted some claps to lead into the show before we got Uncle Joey's like gasping for air crackle laugh that he has going on there. Some other cool stuff that's going on that I'm really looking forward to is Tennessee State just hired Eddie George as their head coach. Antonio Cromartie as Rogers Cromartie. He is an alum of Tennessee State and appears to be a potential candidate for a DB coach out there. I don't think he'll be a defense coordinator, but really cool to see more alum from the NFL who are, played, had time to get out there, had their time in the sun, now wanting to go and give back. With Tennessee State being his alma mater, down there in Tennessee, not too far from where the Titans play. He'll be able to kind of contribute and give back at the same time while, training up those kids on how to get ready for, the next level at an HBCU. And I think we're going to see that a lot. There were some stories out there that Ed Reed and potentially Ray Lewis wanted to get into coaching, and they really feel like they'll have a larger opportunity to start, especially at the HBCUs, following similar to in the footsteps of Deion Sanders. The only thing different between the two is now Ed Reed was a part of the Miami Hurricanes staff. I believe he was, I don't know what his official title was, but I know he had to deal with recruiting. And then Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, I think those guys would have such a strong, input into wherever they went to go coach. And if they were to take like a lesser role at a more prominent school, like a Power 5 school, if they, let's say they were a position coach, all the players would be listening to Ed Reed and Ray over than their defense coordinator, because number one, they have the hardware to prove they can perform not only on the field on Sundays with Super Bowl rings, but they have the gold jackets, and their busts are going to be in the Hall of Fame, until there is no more Hall of Fame. But I look forward to a lot of these former players getting into coaching. My only reservation is, will they be as good at teachers as they were players? And that's the biggest question. Now, Deion, he paid his dues. He started as a position coach at a high school. Now, granted, everybody knew he was eventually going to be the head coach, but he learned how to teach, and I think that's the biggest key there for those coaches. And we'll see if Eddie George and the bunch of them can get to it. We'll see. Time will tell, definitely. But it's great to have a marquee name like that, leading your university, especially at the HBCU level, those are D1 offers. Speaking of D1 offers, we have a lot of recruiting news going on. Do you know what today is? I put it on Twitter. Do you know what it is?
I do not.
It is Offer Friday, and we'll get into those as soon as we get back from break. Let's take a break real quick. Just to recap real quick, we're getting to some UFC later on, just because there's an event this weekend as well. Producer James, anything that's in your mind that you want to get off your chest?
Wake up! I need to wake up.
I see you wearing a special shirt today. Have you heard about the news going on with NASA?
I have not.
Okay, so
I've been asleep, man.
So apparently, SpaceX, Elon Musk venture, NASA has decided to allow SpaceX to take U.S. astronauts, back to the moon.
Oh.
So they'll be able to use the SpaceX rockets to not only, carry their cargo, out of our atmosphere and go into the moon, but then to land on the moon. And then my only curiosity is there's no atmosphere on the moon, right? So there's no atmosphere. So if there's no atmosphere, you could potentially fly off the moon, and I wonder how Elon is going to handle that limited gravity, as well as keeping his rocket stationary, because it's a big rocket. I mean, it's multiple stories high, probably a few dozen stories high. And my curiosity is how do you keep a potentially 100-foot rocket from teetering over?
Yeah.
And it's how you? I'm sure he has people figured it out already.
Oh yeah.
But to have a rocket to be not only leave the atmosphere of Earth, land on the moon, leave the surface of the moon, and then re-enter Earth's atmosphere and land safely back in maybe in Space City down in South Texas. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So NASA, congratulations to NASA. You now have a vehicle. You don't have to bum one with the commie Russians anymore. So we'll see how that fares out. I mean, I bet you we're paying a lot of money to the Russians to take our astronauts to the space station. Kind of embarrassing, but now that we got Elon, good thing he didn't stay in South Africa. That's where he's from.
Yeah.
Shout out to Elon Musk. We'll be back. Oh, one more thing. Oh, we'll get it when we come back. Welcome back to the show. It's the Paul Rodriguez Show coming out of Studio 44. We left with Elon Musk talking about his SpaceX venture. And then we come back to it, and I just find that apparently there's like cyber trucks in front of the new Giga Texas factory in Del Valley. There's just like really cool looking pictures.
Right there up the road, huh?
It's literally like up the road, literally, compared to where we are. So shout out to Elon. I mean, no big deal. Just rolling up with my cyber truck to my Giga Texas factory. Meanwhile, I'm building, Space City in South Texas, and then at the same time, like I just figured out a deal to send, U.S. astronauts into space to land on the moon. And it's just the average Friday.
How does that guy sleep at night?
He probably doesn't sleep, to be honest with you. And then in addition to that, I mean, I sent y'all boys that website. I sent you my code because Dogecoin is going to the moon just like United States astronauts because of Elon Musk. I don't know if y'all got into it, but I bought Doge a long time ago, last year. And my Doge is doing very good. And I'm pretty excited about it. It's been high like this whole week. It's gone like way up there. Way up there. And I don't know. I'm feeling funky about it. Funky like a monkey, in the words of Dusty Rhodes. So I'm happy to see that kind of having some success. I dabble. I'm not. Don't take my advice for it. I dabble on my own thing. This ain't no financial advice or anything. I'm just saying, looking okay, looking all right. We're gonna hold for sure. There was one guy I saw. I don't know if it was his. This was on Instagram, and he had he bought. I don't know when he bought, but he had over 993,000 Dogecoins. He had them. He sold them in September of 2020. Now, don't get me wrong. He made like $67,000 with the sale.
But he also missed out.
But think about it. He sold when Doge was 6 pennies a coin. And now they're 40 cents a coin.
Damn.
If he'd have held them, he'd have over 350,000 right now. And he sold at 67,000. Craziness. All right, y'all. It's Offer Friday. Let's get into the offers that were coming through to the Austin area recruiting. A lot were going on, especially in the middle of the week. They kind of, you were doing your show, Dark Side. At the same time, they came in. I wanted to make sure that we gave them love Thursday. But today is Offer Friday. Very big in the, I'm on the wrong Twitter account. I'm on the Paul Rodriguez Twitter account. Need to get over to the Recon Athlete Twitter account. So pulling that up today, I do know that today, Bo Edmondson, the quarterback for Lake Travis, we have ranked as a 4-star recruit, waiting for the Wizard to pump that graphic out so we can get that posted. He was offered by Purdue, and then the kicker for the 2-time state championship Westlake Chaparrals, he was offered by Army. So very cool to see the Golden Knights get their offer out to a kicker. He's a damn good kicker. He is going to be – he probably won't go to Army. He may probably go to like a big Power 5 school, but, I mean, the kickers have a different kind of rating. It's the same application, but because there's so few kickers, they're kind of like graded on a curve. And so he's a 4-star kid. Really, he would be like a 3. And like we measured him against a more traditional specialist player, quarterback player, he would be like a 3. But he's going to go play somewhere big, and he's got a big leg. He's a big kid. He's 6'2", I think like 170, which that's pretty much a receiver coming out of high school. So he does have some size to him as well. And then the defensive end for Lake Travis, Max Linoff, has been offered by East Central as well. So those were a few offers that kind of came in and trickled in throughout the day, but there's so many other things that are going on. Like we have the SQTs coming up that Snoop had mentioned yesterday that we're probably going to be getting into and be making a visit there as well.
What does that stand for?
State Qualifying Tournament.
There you go.
Yeah, so there's excuse me real quick. There is a governing body that was kind of just put together. So it's the Texas 7-on-7 organization. And it really began just as a hobby, like for kids to kind of do during the summertime just to get more reps. And then it's grown. Now they have like Adidas as their like main sponsor. It's usually held in College Station because there's just enough room to like allow for as many fields to be utilized for all the schools. And for every tournament, and there's multiple tournaments. This is the first year where they're having multiple divisions just to kind of, I think, expand the game to the smaller schools. But like when we get closer to it, when we get to May, we'll definitely kind of get a little bit more in depth about what the rules are like, how it's scored, how big the field is. And usually you can have 4 teams, 2-on-2, playing on one regular size football field. It's usually about 40 yards. The down and distance is different. It's almost like sandlot football, but in a little bit more organized fashion. And it has officials, and there's rules, and there's different safety precautions that are put up. Like when I first started covering it with Snoop and Chris, when we were a Friday Fan Stand, it was like ragtag, unorganized, like very simple. And I remember that time when we went to the first one that we'd known about, and that was at Lake Travis. And there was only like us and one other media person, and they were like from the Texas Orange Bloods, which is like I think they're owned by that's Rivals. That's who that, if you want to reference, it's them. And they were just like, "Who are y'all?" And we were like, "Well, who are you?" Because we didn't know. And we were like, "Yeah, we're with the radio station." He was like, "Oh, well, I'm with the Orange Bloods." And I was like, oh, "Okay, cool." Because usually they'll just send like some intern, and he was just an intern. So were we. But you got to learn, like that's when we first discovered like Baker Mayfield. He was like 15-year-old sophomore.
Saw him out there balling out?
No, well, he wasn't yet. Like he wasn't even the starter. He was just on the team. And I think he played like DB before he was like thrust into action. And yeah, it was really cool to kind of see that whole kind of come to fruition. Samaje Perine too.
What I always found crazy once I started getting into, and of course it was before taking this dive into the high school recruiting and all of that. But I noticed, you'll have players that are like successful, or what we know is like a quarterback position or whatever, and they didn't start playing that. They might have played a different position such as DB or specialized in defense until they found a position to where they were like, really successful at. And it's kind of crazy that, I guess just being around and being in the game of football and then, finding a position to where maybe a coach suggests you might excel at or whatever, and then it ends up working out. You know what I mean?
Right. And I could see how, like, is that your perception? Is that how you kind of see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think it's real easy to have that perception because you're just not aware of the line, because it's pretty much like, there's like all of these talented quarterbacks, and they all want to go to this school because they all want to get coached under this certain coach because they know that they can go play at the next level. And so there's a pecking order, and so you have to like wait your turn. And so for Baker, I want to say he had one of the Brewer quarterbacks in front of him. I could be wrong, but if it wasn't for the quarterback ahead of Baker getting hurt, he would have had to wait till he was a senior. But he got to play as a sophomore, and then he won a state title as a junior. And then he was like thrust into like, the national spotlight because he played at Lake Travis. Everybody knew what Garrett Gilbert did at Lake Travis before that in the early 2010s. And so a lot of, prestige gets put upon you. And so like the same thing is going on right now. Like Bo Edmondson was a sophomore, and he had to wait for his predecessor at Lake Travis to, graduate, and Nate Yardell, and go play somewhere else or go to college to go play. So now Bo is lucky because he'll be the starter as a junior, and then, he'll have 2 years to have that development. And I think he's gonna grow a little bit more. But in certain schools, like same thing with Cade Klubnik, as a junior, he was competing with the senior, and there's really like a three-way race. And he was a sophomore, and he was just as good, but they went with Kirkland Michaud, who ended up winning them a state title 2 years ago. Well, now Cade was playing as a junior, and now he's in his third year. He's going to play as a senior for potentially a third consecutive state title in 6A. So usually it looks like, yeah, you can't play quarterback because you're on defense, but it's not that they found a new role. It's just that they had to wait for the person ahead of them to move on.
Makes sense.
1 second.
It was actually like 3.
Yeah, I don't know what. I guess I'm a little dehydrated. I drank like 4 glasses of water today.
Dude, I was sneezing all this morning. Like,
I think it's the allergies.
Yeah, it has to be,
I think so too, because my eyes have been real itchy the whole day, and I was like, I'm gonna take a Zyrtec. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna take it because I don't like the way it makes my nasal passages feel. And once we get down, maybe in the next break when we get to that, probably right now, I may have to go like take another one or get a refill of water. But again, Offer Friday, cool to see those young men get those offers as they come in. And I'm looking forward to what we're going to be talking about next when we get into that UFC. But before then, let's get a break real quick. And I'm going to go probably take a allergy pill. All right, we're back. It is the Paul Rodriguez Show. I am. Let's get into. Yes, I am Paul Rodriguez. I had a little brain malfunction there for a second. It's like state your name for the record, sir. Paul Rodriguez. Okay. UFC on ESPN 22 this coming Saturday night. Should be a fun event. Headliners are Gastelum versus Whitaker, or Whitaker versus Gastelum. The main cards, we got 3 of them: heavyweight, lightweight, and middleweight. Let's get off with our Andrei Arlovski versus Chase Sherman. Looking like a stepping stone here for young Sherman over the elder statesman Arlovski. What do you anticipate for this big heavyweight matchup going into it, with knowing the war history potentially with Arlovski, and then Sherman? I mean, he's only got 15 fights, 15 W's, a few losses.
Yeah, 15-6.
15-6. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, seems to be still in this prime, UFC prime.
Yeah, definitely looks like a stepping stone for him. Although I'm hoping that they bang it out. I don't know too much about this Sherman guy, but Arlovski can knock you out still if he catches you.
That's true.
And he'll also hang in there and take an ass whooping too. So
he's got like a strong chin, right?
Mm-hmm. He's got that burly beard behind that, you know.
But he's is he Russian or Ukrainian?
I think he is Russian.
Yeah, I think he's Russian too. So those dudes, I mean, they're definitely going to hang into a war. Yeah. They're not going to really kind of just give up or take anything lightly. But Arlovski, he could submit you too, couldn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Although I would bet on his stand up
for both fighters.
Yeah,
I think that would probably be the sentiment for both fighters, just being in a stand up war.
That's where he was born.
Yeah, I'm sure he lives all over. I know he trains with Masvidal. That's probably why he's in the UFC still as well, just to have that connection.
Yeah. What else do we got here?
And then that lightweight fight, that's in the second card. It's Jeremy Stevens versus Drakkar Klose.
Another knockout.
You think that's going to be a KO too?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Jeremy Stevens is a knockout artist.
That's what he does?
Yep.
That's about his business?
Yep.
He's good. He wants to go cash some checks is what you're saying.
Yeah, he leaves people stiff.
Well, the way this is kind of shaping up, the same thing kind of goes with the title, with the main event as well, with Robert Whitaker and Kelvin Gastelum. Those are dudes who like to have stand-up wars. And so do you think that's going to probably be the theme for this card, especially at the main events? Main card?
I think that one's going to be a 5-round bloody mess decision.
Oh, really?
That's my prediction.
Because they both can take hits.
Yeah.
We've seen them both go through nasty fights.
Yeah.
So you think this is going to be a bloody event? Because, I mean, we talked about how the heavyweights, that's probably going to be a knockout. And then you're saying Stevens is a knockout artist.
Yeah.
And Arlovski's got all that scar tissue on his face, so he could easily open up.
Yeah.
So it's same thing with Gastelum.
Yeah. He hung in there against Adesanya. He actually gave Adesanya a pretty nice beating whenever they competed against each other. And that was 5 rounds, I believe.
Now, has Robert Whitaker fought Adesanya?
Yeah.
How did that go?
It
was just easy work
for Adesanya.
Right?
It wasn't easy work. Well, yeah, it was easy work. Second round TKO, I believe.
But Adesanya is so long, and I think that's probably what his biggest advantage is for those two fighters, because both of them, Gastelum and Whitaker, they're under 6 feet.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
And they're more like stocky kind of, stockier fighters, and Adesanya's just long and lean, and he's going to come and do his damage and then get out.
Yeah, it was whenever Gastelum fought Adesanya, it was definitely I had 2-2 going into the 5th round. The 5th round was going to take it, I felt like. But that's whenever Adesanya, he's at the end and he was like, "Let's go." He's like, "I'm ready to die." And then
Adesanya said that?
Yeah. And it was kind of like, holy shit. And he went out there and handled his business. Yeah.
And that went to the decision, or he knocked out?
That one was decision.
Oh, it went to decision?
Yeah. It was a good fight.
So you're telling me that these two fighters can both have strong chins with Whitaker and Gastelum?
Yeah, definitely.
But do you think it'll be a slug out fest because just knowing their backgrounds, or do you anticipate, because they both look like they can wrestle? Yeah. And my curiosity is like, is this going to be one of those fights where everybody's anticipating the main event's going to just be, just hand strikes after strikes after strikes, but it turns into a dud where they like get gassed in the first round and then they just start like trying to take each other down to score points?
If anyone gasses, it's going to be Gastelum. Robert Whitaker, he's great, dude. I'm real high on that guy. Like I've said before, I don't know why he hasn't. I mean, I guess so. if you're pulling the strings over there in the UFC, you know, you got other fights to make with Adesanya. Meanwhile, Gastelum, Whitaker's been here just like, he's been just gatekeeping like that number one spot. He's been number one for a while, I think, since he lost to Adesanya.
So he just can't
he's been winning. He's been winning. He's been beating these guys that are just like knocking at the door, and he's
then why is Gastelum getting title shots and Whitaker's not?
Gastelum?
Yeah, why you said Whitaker's the gatekeeper at that number one spot, right?
Yeah.
So my question is why did Gastelum
got a title shot before Adesanya fought Whitaker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this was a while back.
So that was a while ago.
Yeah.
I thought this was like recent.
So yeah, he's climbing the ladder again, but I'm telling you, Robert Whitaker's gonna be like, no, get back down.
So this is kind of like a number one contender shot.
Oh, definitely. Okay.
Definitely. All right. Anything else intrigue you on the prelim at 4:00 on ESPN2?
Let's take a look here. I don't think so.
Yeah, it looks pretty plain Jane. Nothing that sticks out.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So since we are on the combat sports tip, Logan Paul, Ben Askren, this Saturday night. I am not watching that trash.
Jake Paul.
Whatever. One of those doofuses over there. Apparently, the story came out said he has like early onset of CTE.
Who? Jake Paul?
Whoever's fighting Askren, whatever one of those doofuses are fighting him. Is it him?
Yeah. Jake Paul.
Okay, so yeah, he has early onset CTE. I'm like,
from what?
You're 23, 4. I was like, unless you're like running your head in stunts into the wall, like ex-Redskin quarterbacks.
I don't know. That guy, I don't know, man. I kind of understand it from if it's sell, like, I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to buy it, but
you're going to find a way to watch it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, probably go to a buddy's house. That's what I meant.
Yeah. No illegal streaming going on over here.
But
don't worry about us, Dan.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out, man. I don't know, man. I'm obviously going for Askren just because I really can't stand Jake Paul. But for the longest time, I couldn't stand Floyd Mayweather, and I was there buying his fights. I'm never buying a fight ever again. The next time he fought, I was there buying his fights.
So did you see what I dropped in the group chat last night about the odds?
Yes.
And so they haven't changed, and the odds are that. Is it Logan Paul or Jake Paul?
Jake.
So Jake Paul is the favorite, and Ben Askren is the underdog money. Now it's not much. I think it's like plus 155 for Askren, but it's like I was watching Chael Sonnen. I was watching this show, and he said that before this video came out, I think it came out yesterday, because I saw Chael Sonnen today. He was saying that everybody pretty much changed their bets overnight because they saw some shadow boxing that Logan or Jake Paul put out. I can't remember these. All I think about is Paul and blonde hair and white dudes. That's all I think about. Anyways, so after this like shadow boxing video comes out, everybody flips their bet to Askren, and it's like, well, wouldn't you if you're in the fight game, if you're in the fight industry, wouldn't your money already have been on Ben Askren? And it seems that it wasn't.
Yeah. And
so now everybody was like running with Paul. And now after a video, it's like, no, we're going to put our money on Askren now. It's like, well, I just don't understand that. Help me understand that.
So I'll explain it for you. So the reason for that is because obviously, Jake Paul, after, he knocked out Nate Robinson, and he's had a couple of other boxing fights. And Ben Askren, he's not known for his striking at all whatsoever. I've actually seen him throw some horrible punches in a UFC fight. He's a All-American wrestler.
Okay.
You wouldn't be able to tell if you asked Jorge Masvidal, of course.
Well, that's why he threw the knee.
Yep. Yeah, he knew what was coming. But so Askren, like, hands down, like, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But as far as stand-up, it's just that's why this fight is intriguing, because Jake Paul, if they are who he says he is, he can go out there and win this fight, and he's just gonna use this to further elevate him. I beat a mixed martial artist and all of that stuff.
So you think he has a shot to win?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's like, you feel he has a legitimate opportunity to win as the favorite?
I wouldn't put money on him.
No, I wouldn't either. But what I'm saying is that the credibility that Vegas is giving him by putting the odds in his favor as the favorite lets me know that this Ben Askren knows going into this fight he has been labeled the underdog by the odds makers. And that's where I'm kind of like thinking to myself, is Paul that good of a boxer that they're going to give a guy who used to do this professionally in the highest level in the UFC?
Well, that's the thing. He didn't used to do this because this is boxing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But as far as like competing in combat against, he's used to the what do you call it? Like being in the ring, being in the octagon with somebody, used to the competition. You're
used to being in an environment where someone's literally trying to destroy you.
Yeah.
Physically.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been doing this forever.
And that's where my brain comes into play with it. And I'm like, listen, I'm going to wrap my brain around a professional athlete, number one. Number two, who's going to have the discipline to go in and train and be at their best to compete in a violent physical sport. And he's going to have all those years of training and this willpower and go compete against a YouTube star. And that's what I'm thinking about. I'm like, how the hell is Vegas? What does Vegas know that we don't, to where they put the odd favorite as the YouTube person? Is there so much money being leveraged or hedged in favor of Paul that he's the underdog? I mean, he's the favorite?
I did read that Ben Askren is getting the payday of his career with this fight.
Well, that tells you how shitty the UFC pays.
Yeah, I agree.
No, they made
Dana White didn't even like he didn't like Ben Askren for the longest time, and Ben Askren didn't come over until they did the deal with Mighty Mouse from ONE FC, and they sent Ben Askren over to the UFC in exchange for Mighty Mouse. It was literally like a trade.
So Askren was at ONE FC?
ONE FC.
And they just did
mauling these guys. Hardly throwing any punches, just mauling them, taking them down, mauling them, wrestling. A lot of people, because Joe Rogan was one of the ones that was real high on him. He has to go to the UFC because, like a lot of other people feel like if you're not in the UFC, you're not facing top tier competition. So that's
Fedor, arguable after we've been watching on ONE UFC on Wednesdays.
Yeah. So. Oh yeah, big time. But people for like when it comes to Fedor, about his, in my opinion, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. But it's kind of like it's hard to argue that because he never fought in the UFC against Cain Velasquez, Brock Lesnar, Shane Carwin, other
Stipe.
Stipe. But so yeah, it's hard to when talking about your career, it's hard to talk about if you haven't been in the UFC. So when they sent him over, I forgot who they gave him. I think it was Robbie Lawler, Ben Askren and Robbie Lawler.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and then next was, of course, Jorge.
And that's when he ended his
career. Yeah.
With the knee to the nose.
Yeah.
So here's the question. The burning question is, in your humblest of humbled opinions, who wins that fight and how? Who wins the Paul Askren fight and how?
Well, I'm gonna say Ben Askren by decision.
So you think everybody, even Chael said it. Chael said there's gonna be a knockout in the first or second round. Like it's not gonna go to a decision.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to say, man. Dude, talking about Ben Askren stand up, it's not like.
And that's what the video was. It was him shadow boxing, where everybody said, "Nope, we're putting our money over here with the professional."
Shadow boxing, come on.
Exactly. That's furthers my point, is that nobody in the whole industry has a clue about what the hell is going on with this fight. The only person that's been consistent in this entire clown show has been Dana White saying he'll put $1 million on the bet, which I want to know if he's done or not.
On Ben Askren, correct?
Right, on Ben Askren. Because he feels like if he's going to lose $1 million, he'll lose it to, and he'll find a way to flip it. He'll find a way to make the money back. But he's like, no, I'm going to put the guy who was representing potentially my industry, my sport specific in UFC, company specific. I'll put the $1 million on the line. Surely. Because I believe that a professional fighter is better than a YouTuber. That's the logic in my brain.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but I mean, dude, these Paul brothers, they're pretty big. And
They ain't no Diaz brothers, bro. Let's set up that boxing fight.
Very true, very true.
Set up that. Let's see what happens then.
They don't want none of that.
They don't want none of the Stockton. I'm just saying.
In a back alley somewhere.
After they whipped your ass in the ring.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's get to a break. It's 52 minutes after the hour. We were a little long on that one, but yeah, I'm sure y'all don't mind. When we come back, sports trivia. Welcome back, everybody. It is the Paul Rodriguez Show. Our newest segment we're having today is trivia. So producer James has pulled up some trivia that he's going to be testing me with. And if I don't get, I wonder how many questions this quiz that you have brought up is, courtesy of Yahoo Sports.
It says 20.
It says 20?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can get 2 wrong and still make a 90.
All right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. 20 questions. Yesterday I passed with a 90. Today, if I don't pass, then I got to take the little nitro challenge. And we'll have that. If I fail, we'll probably have that video up for you as soon as they arrive. They're en route. They're in the mail. Shout out Amazon, Jeff Bezos. Get them to me quicker. Pay for Prime. Just saying. And we'll have that probably posted on a Patreon channel where if you want to see it, donate us $1 to the show, and then probably, I don't know, after 50 views, we'll put it up for everybody to watch. Sound fair?
Do you think that's going to go well with everyone that paid for it?
Well, I mean, they got to see it first. They got to see my agony first.
True.
And we're not going to probably 50 views, and then we'll probably wait a week. Everybody can kind of go there and see it. All right, let's get into it.
All right. Question number 1. What round was Tom Brady drafted in?
He was drafted in I think it was the 7th round. I know it was pick 199. They don't tell us if we get it right or wrong.
I guess you find out at the end.
Well, here we go. This is going to be good for everybody.
5 members of the 96 draft class are in the Hall of Fame. Which player was selected number 1 overall in that class? Jonathan Ogden.
Ogden. I can't see.
Kai Jana Carter.
Well, that ain't it.
Ray Lewis. Keyshawn Johnson.
Man. It's between Key and Jonathan Ogden. And they're both Hall of Famers. We'll go with Ogden.
All right. We'll find out at the end.
We will.
Which college has the most NFL draft picks since 2000?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm going to go with since 2000. I'm going to go with Alabama.
Okay.
I'm probably going to fail this one. I can already kind of.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Last year, Oklahoma joined these 2 colleges in a tie for the most number 1 draft picks. Georgia and Notre Dame, USC and Alabama, Notre Dame and USC, Alabama and Georgia.
Last year, Oklahoma joined these 2 colleges in a tie for most number 1 draft picks. Notre Dame, USC.
All right. Which of these quarterbacks was not taken between John Elway and Dan Marino in the 83 NFL draft? Jim Kelly, Todd Blackledge, Ken O'Brien, Jeff Christensen.
Yeah, I'm totally failing this one. I'm going to go with Todd Blackledge. He seems way older than them anyways.
Which of these 2017 draft picks has not made a Pro Bowl? Mitchell Trubisky.
Leonard Fournette.
Marlon Humphrey. Buda Baker.
Has not made a Pro Bowl. I'm going to go with Trubisky because he sucks.
Yeah, and if he's made one, he shouldn't have made it.
Yeah, true. He was an alternate.
Let me see if I can adjust real quick. Oh. Hold on.
Oh, you killed it. We got it. Oh,
no,
damn it.
No, it's right there.
All right.
Hang on. Not getting off the hook that quick. Okay. What?
Left the line.
Okay. Which of these 2018 draft picks has made a Pro Bowl? Baker Mayfield, Bradley Chubb, Leighton Vander Esch, or Calvin Ridley?
Which of those 2018 draft picks has made?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good one. This is hard.
Might have stumped the Schwami.
It's not. Maybe it's not Vander Esch. I know that. It's not Calvin Ridley. Which of the draft picks has? Let's go with Bradley Chubb.
Okay.
I don't think Baker's made it either.
All right. Kyler Murray, and Nick Bosa were selected first and second overall in 2019. Who was selected third? Josh Allen, Cleveland Farrell, Daniel Jones, or Quinnen Williams?
Quinnen Williams.
Okay. Who was dubbed Mr. Irrelevant in 2019 when he was picked last in the draft? Wide receiver Bissy Johnson, tight end Caleb Wilson, running back Darwin Thompson, or defensive end Jordan Brailford?
I don't know. Caleb Wilson. Yeah, we're definitely doing the Little Nitro Challenge.
Michael Vick was taken number 1 overall in the 2001 draft. Who was the second quarterback taken that year? Quincy Carter, Joey Harrington, Marquise Tuiasosopo, or Drew Brees?
Who was taken second? Well, Drew Brees was taken in the second round. I know that. I'm going to go with Joey Harrington.
Real quick, what did you think about Quincy Carter when he played for Dallas?
He was okay. Quincy's actually a private coach here in Austin for quarterbacks. Really? Yeah, he trains a couple of the kids, and like Oscar Good for the quarterback of LBJ. He trains him, and then he trains a couple other kids. So he's doing all right. I mean,
he was pretty fast.
Yeah, but I don't think he could harness the offense to get them to where they needed to be. Eventually, Romo took his job in 2009, I think.
He played under the Tuna, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
You know who the Tuna is?
Bill Parcells?
Yeah.
Come on, man. I wouldn't say that if I didn't know it.
I don't. I'm just saying. I'm trying to get a little retribution here. Over here, I'm getting dominated by this quiz you have on Yahoo Sports. Killing me, Smalls.
3 quarterbacks were taken in the first round of the 2005 draft. Alex Smith, Aaron Rodgers, and this man. David Green, Kyle Orton, Jason Campbell, or Dan Orlovsky?
Dan Orlovsky. No, it's Orlovsky.
Orlovsky.
Alex Smith.
Oh, I thought that was your answer.
No. This is a good question. It's not Green. Oh, man. Josh Campbell really sticks out to my brain. We'll go with Josh Campbell.
You mean Jason?
Campbell.
All right. Who was the last wide receiver to be drafted number 1 overall? Calvin Johnson, Irving Fryer, Keyshawn Johnson, Andre Johnson.
Keyshawn.
Who was the last defensive player to be drafted number 1 overall? J.J. Watt, Joey Bosa, Jadeveon Clowney, Myles Garrett.
Joey Bosa.
Okay. This top overall pick in the 2007 draft is widely considered one of the biggest busts in history.
Jamarcus Russell. I know that one.
Yeah, okay. Which Bosa or Watt brother was drafted highest? J.J. Watt, T.J. Watt, Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa.
Oh, well. I got to change one of my answers because I just figured out one of them's wrong. So, I think Nick Bosa was drafted highest.
Okay. And you can't go back and change the answer.
Apparently not.
Sorry. Hall of Famer Randy Moss was drafted 21st by the Vikings in the 98 draft. How many wide receivers were picked before him?
I think 2.
2? Okay. 3 quarterbacks were taken at the start of the 99 draft. Which player was taken number 4? Ricky Williams, Torrey Holt, Champ Bailey, Edgerrin James.
I want to say Champ Bailey.
Okay.
Oh, man, I'm dying on this one.
4 of the first picks in the 89 draft are Hall of Famers. Who did the Packers take at number 2 that is not in that club?
Sterling Sharp.
Okay. How many kickers and punters were drafted last year? 4, 5, 6, 7.
5.
And last, the Ravens took Lamar Jackson with the last pick of the first round in 2018. Who did they select 7 picks before that? Marlon Humphrey, Orlando Brown, Mark Andrews, Hayden Hurst.
Let's go with Orlando Brown.
Okay.
What did I get?
All right. You got 7 out of 20 correct. You did better than 44% of participants.
See?
So let's see the correct answers here. Okay. What round was Tom Brady drafted in?
I know he was picked 199.
You answered 7. He was correctly drafted in round 6. 5 members of the 96 draft class are in the Hall of Fame. Which player was selected number 1 overall in that class? You answered Jonathan Ogden. It was correct answer was Keyshawn Johnson. Which college has the most NFL draft picks since 2000? You answered Alabama. The correct answer was Ohio State. Did you want like the summary of why that's right? Okay. You did get right. Last year, Oklahoma joined these two colleges in a tie for the most number 1 draft pick. You answered Notre Dame and USC, and that was correct. Which of these quarterbacks was not taken between John Elway and Dan Marino in the 83 NFL draft? You answered Todd Blackledge. The correct answer was Jeff Christensen. Which of these 2017 draft picks has not made a Pro Bowl? You answered Mitchell Trubisky. The correct answer was Leonard Fournette, surprisingly. Which of these 2018 draft picks has made a Pro Bowl? You answered linebacker Bradley Chubb. The correct answer was Leighton Vander Esch.
Sorry ass Cowboys.
Kyler Murray and Nick Bosa were selected first and second overall in 2019. Who was selected third? You answered Quinnen Williams. That was correct. Who was dubbed Mr. Irrelevant when he was picked last in 2019? Correct answer was tight end Caleb Wilson, which you also got correct. Michael Vick was taken number 1 overall in the 2001 draft. Who was the second? You answered Joey Harrington. The correct answer was Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
3 quarterbacks were taken in the first round of the 05 draft. Alex Smith, Aaron Rodgers, and this man. You answered Jason Campbell. That was also correct. Who was the last wide receiver to be drafted number 1 overall? Keyshawn Johnson was the correct answer that you got right. Who was the last defensive player to be drafted number 1 overall? You answered Joey Bosa. The correct answer was Myles Garrett.
See, I really got 8 right. I really got 8 out of the 7 because once I saw 15's question, I was like, damn, all right. So that means 13 was Myles Garrett.
Yeah, true. 14, the biggest bust, everyone knows, Jamarcus Russell.
Who drafted him?
Jamarcus Russell?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it Oakland?
It was Oakland.
Yeah, okay. Which Bosa or Watt brother was drafted highest? Your answer was Nick Bosa. That was correct. 16, Hall of Famer Randy Moss was drafted 21st by the Vikings in the 98 draft. How many wide receivers were picked before him? You answered 2, and then the correct answer was 1. 3 quarterbacks were taken at the start of the 99 draft. Which player was taken number 4? You answered Champ Bailey. The correct answer was Edgerrin James. We just bombed the rest of these.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, man, after those lashings you gave me yesterday about, Green Bay and all that, come on, man.
It's all right. I know I got this little nitro I got to take.
4 of the first 5 picks in the 89 draft are Hall of Famers. Who did the Packers take at number 2 that is not in that spot, in that club? You answered Sterling Sharp. The correct answer was Tony Mandarich.
Yeah, Mandarich.
Okay. How many kickers and punters were drafted last year? The correct answer was 4. You answered 5. And the Ravens took Lamar Jackson with the last pick of the first round in 2018. Who did they select 7 picks before that? Your answer was Orlando Brown, and the correct answer was Hayden Hurst.
And all of this really needs to tell you, everybody, is the draft just really doesn't give. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter because nobody's going to retain that information. The only thing that matters is that we're going to have a draft party on April 29th. And before that, I'm going to be taking a little nitro extra spicy gummy bear that is 9,000 times hotter than a jalapeno.
You know how many Scoville units it is?
How many Scoville units is it?
Oh no, I was asking.
Well, it's 9,000 times 6,000. What's the math on that?
9 times 6,000?
Yeah, 9,000 times 6,000.
54,000.
It's got to be more than 54,000 because you got to put another 1,000 behind it.
That the bomb beyond insanity. That's 300,000 Scoville units.
300,000.
Yeah.
So let's do the math real quick.
Okay.
9,000. A jalapeno is 6,000 Scoville. So 9,000 times 6,000. 54 million. And what's that other one?
300,000. Is that correct?
I mean, this one says 54 million.
I have to verify.
What are you verifying?
How hot that gummy is?
Yeah, it says 9,000. So do this. It's the little nitro challenge.
Okay. Phil Nitro.
There it is.
Scoville.
So producer James is looking it up right now. What does it say? 9 million?
Yeah.
9 million on the Scoville. And yours was what, 300,000? Yeah, son. Yeah, boy.
Damn, dude.
It's gonna be a hell of a gummy bear challenge whenever this may have to up it to like 100 donations.
I don't know, man. You did bomb that. You did bomb. Like, you literally bombed that trivia, dude. Kind of embarrassed for you.
You should be. You should. But you still thought that you were gonna pull a fast one on me, but giving me Al Harris. Whenever there was like, I know Al Harris. You know Al Harris. It's not my fault that y'all had Taysom Hill on the Packers and you didn't even know about it. It's like all the Atlanta Falcon fans. You had Brett Favre drafted to your team, and then you managed to let him get away.
I didn't know that.
You did?
I did.
Who was this coach at Atlanta?
It doesn't matter. That's why he left.
That's not true. Who was his coach at the Packers?
Mike Holmgren.
Okay, good. There you go.
Come
Who
on,
was the
man.
offensive coordinator?
Offensive coordinator.
He's a head coach now in the NFL. Probably has the best quarterback on the team.
Was it Andy Reid, was it?
Yeah, it was Andy Reid. Guess who else was on that staff? He was a position coach. He's coaching in the NFL right now too.
Head coach?
Head coach.
Who?
Gruden.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of coaches on that staff. Steve Mariucci, he was on that staff as well. Lots of players.
Yeah, man, they only got one Super Bowl out of good old Brett. I'm in town to play the Dolphins, you dumbass.
You only got one Super Bowl out of old Aaron. What does that tell you? You've been right there on the precipice of back-to-back years, and you still can't get it done. What does that tell you? Make you tear up a little bit?
Yeah, at least I'm proud of my team, man.
I'm not proud of any team. I'm proud of certain players. That's kind of where I went whenever I got into fantasy. It was like, yeah, these teams can go out the window. All right, man. It's Friday. It's Friday again. I think that's a song, right?
Has to be.
Has to be.
Has to be.
Has to be. What do you got over there? You got extra vowels jumping into your mouth there? 15 minutes after the second hour. It is 8:15. Friday is upon us. Ladies and gentlemen, my producer James Santa Cruz, will be turning the big 3-2 this weekend.
You gonna serenade me?
How do you feel about getting a year older and a year less wiser? Tell me how you feel about that.
What?
A year less wiser. No, man. You're turning 32 Sunday. Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
What are the plans? What are the details? Where's the party? Where's the invite?
Invite is nowhere to be found.
Jesus Christ.
We're gonna be I'm gonna be barbecuing, man. I got a new barbecue pit. I'm gonna be flexing my muscles on. I have to come drop you a plate.
Flexing your muscles.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Yeah, but no, man.
Just grilling it up on the weekend?
Yeah, just hanging out, spending time with the family and stuff.
Okay.
I'm not too big on my birthday anymore for some reason.
Why?
I don't know. It's just like you're just turning older. I'm not a guy that's like, hey, everybody, look at me.
Ooh,
You know?
wait till it's my birthday.
Oh, fuck.
Oh man, wait when it's. Ooh, wait, let me not do that real quick. It's 'cause when it comes to my birthday. Oh, daddy, it's 30 days long.
Damn.
All month long. You're going to be hearing about it. It's going to be, look at me. Look how I shine. Ain't going to be no shiny suit, man. Ain't no Puff Daddy, but I'll be letting everybody know. Hey, you know what? You know it's my birthday month, right? It's how I run. It's how I rolls.
I know plenty of people like that.
Hey, man, it's fun time. You got to celebrate.
I'm sad to add you to that list.
You got to enjoy your life. All right, shout out to everybody on the show tonight. Elon, he wasn't on the show, but he was definitely involved. Shout out to all the young people getting their offers that are coming in for their exceptional athleticism. And then again, producer James, appreciate you putting in the work this week, man. We'll run it back next week.
Yes, sir.
If Monday's too strong, man, let me know. I don't know. I might say, man, you have to come to work hurt, man. I'm sorry. I have to show up anyways. Make sure you take you a nap while everybody's at school.
You might have to go pick me up.
I'll be like, oh, Lord. You didn't send your car flying again, did you?
Oh, damn.
You ain't get boosted up with Tesla now, did you?
Be in bed
up in space.
Be in bed on an IV drip.
I'll be like, oh Lord, what happened to him? When Monday was just too strong.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're out of here. Appreciate y'all watching. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying the show, and tell your friends. Put a subscribe. May run a contest for some new subscribers just to grow the channel a little bit. Appreciate you, everybody. We out.